farther each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. Got all screwed up. I don't know what the fuck's going on with YouTube, but it is not cooperating. It is not cooperating. Told people I was live earlier when I was live yesterday. It wouldn't even post this last one. I had to redo it. So now there's a upcoming notify thing on my. Yeah. Good morning, Leisure. Good to see you. Good to see you. I had some Tums. I have a little heartburn here. Tums. It's just flavored chalk. Gotta make sure there's no alcohol in this. Nope. No alcohol in these. All right. So, yeah, I apologize for any inconvenience, even though it's not my fault this time. It's putting me through this. I don't even really want to do this shit today. I don't. Got this back on. I didn't do anything worse to it. It's getting better. It's just, well, went and got some x-rays done. They're like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. There's supposed to be a follow-up from the doctor. No, that hasn't happened yet. It's been a week. Oh, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, right? Anyway, welcome to the Daily Charge. My name is Dion. I hope you're having a good Thursday. It's Thursday. It's grassroots meeting day, 5 o'clock meeting. Grassroots. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. I'm going to actually take this off while I'm on camera because it keeps hitting, and I doubt people with headphones want to hear that. Click that. Bap, bap. Yeah. That's why I try and refrain from typing while I'm doing this because, yeah. Otherwise, you get the clickety, clackety, click to clock. All right. We're going to be on We Agnostics today. Here we do something a little different. I don't usually read We Agnostics very often. I'm not here anyway. Unless, of course, it's from, the book, from the Daily Reflection or whatever. I've got way too much stuff piled up here. Way too much shit. All right. I take care of that during a meeting. So, chapter 4, We Agnostics. In the preceding chapters, you have learned something of alcoholism. We hope we made the clear distinction between the alcoholic and the non-alcoholic. If when you honestly want to, you find you cannot quit entirely, or if when drinking you have little control over the amount you take, you are probably an alcoholic. If that be the case, you may be suffering from an illness which only a spiritual experience will conquer. This is probably where people feel like that we put something over their head, the barrel over their head, as we tend to say. I agree, Leisure. It is a very important chapter. Absolutely, it is. This is probably where people tend to feel that AA is telling them what to do, or that they have to do this. And in a sense, that's true. In a sense, that's kind of true. Okay. Um, but it's going to kind of be your choice. There's a lot of atheists and agnostics in AA. There's a lot of people that don't believe in God, but they have found a higher power. Higher power does not, we use the word God because it's a universal word. That's why I use it. I use it so that you don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But I probably do not believe in a higher, same kind of higher power that you do. And it's okay. There's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's as probably many as higher powers in AA as there are people. There's a lot of people in this world that use a higher power concept. There's a, and I don't like saying it this way, but it kind of separates it. Religion is trying to stay out of hell. Spirituality is trying to get closer to God. We're trying to use spirituality here. There's a lot of things that might be religious that I don't agree with. I believe that people can be redeemed. I do not believe that suicide is a sin and that you won't go to heaven. Okay. And I'll tell you why, because, and there's no way. Do you think Robin Williams is in hell? Do you? Do you? I don't. I just can't believe that. No, I cannot. There are a lot of people who have passed away by their own. Um, don't you? I don't use a doorknob because even a doorknob can turn on you. It can't be an inanimate object. I don't believe it can be an inanimate, but the smallest start, right? Sometimes you got to give somebody the smallest start. I found that people that do utilize things like doorknobs eventually after a little bit change it, right? I think what people tried to do is they tried to make it so simple that it became easy, and it's not necessarily easy, but it is a simple thing, right? To one who feels he is atheist or agnostic, such an experience seems impossible. No. In fact, I have found that it is easier for people that are atheist and agnostic. I found that this program seems to be a little bit easier for them, or this part does, easier for them than the militant religious person. That the person that knows a lot about religion seems to have a harder time with this, of coming up with their own concept, because they're going to have to get rid of a lot of old ideas that were presented to them. When I was I was a trainer for a check conversion company. We also did what was called an ARC program, which was you paid it back within 90 days. So anyway, it was pretty much it doesn't matter what it was. It was loans through your checking account. There was no credit check, and it was legit. It was. Anyway, it doesn't matter. There's somebody who tried to make it unlegit, right? A lot of places that tried, they stole the idea, they did this with it, they did that with it, abused the fuck out of it. And it's just like any other kind of sales technique. But I'd have to train these people, and if these people had worked somewhere else before, it was harder because I had to untrain them first. I had to go through. I'm like, okay, give me your pitch, and I'd have to listen to their stupid fucking pitch and tell them how wrong everything was, how incorrect. And yeah, a lot of them just went away because they couldn't make the change. Yeah, I used to complain to my boss. I'm like, I don't want to take these people from this company because they're no good. They've been taught wrong, and I can't get them to do it the right way. So anyway, such an experience seems impossible, but to continue as he is means disaster, especially if he is an alcoholic of the hopeless variety. And yeah, that would be me. To be doomed to an alcoholic death or to live on spiritual basis are not always easy alternatives to face. You know, alcoholism can be hard because you kind of get either or decisions here. There's a lot of what will feel like ultimatums. So it feels like Okay. So my suggestion is don't shoot your own foot. Don't shoot your own foot. I've got to get more coffee. I know that's been a habit lately. I'm sorry. I need my coffee. All right. I didn't even put sugar in it so I could get back quicker. So, not putting much sugar in it anyway. Ugh. But it isn't so difficult. About half our original fellowship were of exactly that type. At first, some of us tried to avoid the issue, hoping against hope we were not true alcoholics. But after a while, we had to face the fact that we must find a spiritual basis of life, or else. Perhaps it is going to be that way with you, but cheer up. Something like half of us thought we were atheists or agnostics. Our experience shows that you not be disconcerting. You know, I actually know several people that are sober that don't even utilize a higher power. They don't go on a spiritual path. And a lot of it tends to work, okay? And they become working members of society again, new set of morals. Absolutely, they have a new set of morals. Um, but you're going to miss out on some things. You're going to miss out on a lot of things. You know, um, I have found anything void of a higher power, any recovery void of a higher power, doesn't seem to work out in the long run. They don't get direction like I do. They don't seem to be able to handle problems like I do. They don't seem to be able to look inward and take a good, healthy look at myself. See, I've been freed. I've been freed of a blame. I've been freed of a shame. I've been freed of my sins that I committed. Yes, I have. So you're going to gain a freedom. I don't want to be so close-minded to say that, but that doesn't mean I'm open-minded, but I don't know that I necessarily agree. Does that make sense? I know it makes sense. You're an alcoholic and it makes sense to me. If a mere code of morals or a better philosophy of life were sufficient to overcome alcoholism, many of us would have recovered long ago. That's what I was just kind of talking about. Right? For some people, it was a phase. My first wife, I met her in AA, but she's not an alcoholic. Not an alcoholic. She thought she was. I, I, I told she just didn't act like we did. She didn't think the same way. She didn't, there were some things she didn't understand. She got in trouble driving home one night, got a DUI. The parents had to put the house up to get her out of jail, and that was enough for her. That was enough for her. Good. I was glad to hear that. She got out of the party lifestyle, found a new set of morals and philosophies, and she doesn't do that shit anymore. There you go, man. Right? And she still to this day has a higher power in her life. Oh no. See, the whole point was for her to find her higher power, but she found it a lot sooner than a lot of other people. It's kind of because that denial and stuff wasn't in there. All right. But we found that such a codes and philosophies did not save us no matter how much we tried. Okay. Now, maybe these people aren't true, hopeless, helpless, chronic alcoholics like us. Yeah. Yeah. Okay? We could wish to be moral. We could wish to be philosophically comforted. In fact, we could will these things with all our might, but the needed power wasn't there. Our human resources, as marshaled by the will, were not sufficient. They had failed utterly. Yeah, everything I tried to throw at it myself just didn't quite work. It didn't work. Not quite work. It didn't work at all. Lack of power, that was our dilemma. Yeah, lack of power, not just willpower, but power. Actual power to make change in ourselves. We had to find a power which we could live by which we could live. That's important there. You have to find a power for which you can live by. And it's going to be different than mine. And it had to be a power greater than ourselves, obviously. But where will we define this power? Well, that's exactly what this book is about. Its main object is to enable you to find a power greater than yourself, which will solve your problem. That means that we have written a book which we believe to be spiritual as well as moral. And it means, of course, that we're going to talk about God. Here, difficulty arises with agnostics. Many times we talk to a new man and watch his hope rise as we discuss his alcoholic problems and explain our fellowship, but his face falls when we speak of spiritual matters, especially when we mention God, for we have reopened a subject which our man thought he had neatly evaded or entirely ignored. Now, I thought times had kind of changed and people kind of knew about a lot of this and da 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 da, and I found out, nope, no, people are just as fucking ignorant. And ignorant means I choose not to learn. There's a difference between naive and ignorant. I, I will always be naive to pregnancy because I can't get pregnant. I won't be able to experience. So therefore I will constantly be naive about it. Ignorance means I could learn about it, but I choose not to. And in this case, it would be ignorance. It'd be belligerent denial. Or you can think of it this way. Everything you tried got you here. So why don't you try something new? If it doesn't work, then go back to the way it was, man. What's 60, 90 days of your life? Try and get out from that crushing juggernaut of alcohol, right? We know how he feels. We have shared his honest doubt and prejudice. I've never been atheist or agnostic. I've always believed in some kind of God or higher power, always. But I've had my doubt and prejudice. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. See, and where was that doubt and prejudice? Well, it had to do with, the Bible, the Book of Mormon, these things, the Lighthouse, magazine that they leave at your door, right? Well, take this magazine. Always hand you literature. Always hand you literature, right? But so what I had to do was start to see where religious people were right. And you know what I found out? That even a lot of religious people they also don't believe that if you commit suicide, you go to hell. They actually believe in a lot of the same things, and even they'll tell you, I'm not as much religion as I am spiritual. It's neat, right? And I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about myself, my actions, leadership, ministry, because of my friend Pastor Marcia. Yeah, I've learned a lot. She was willing to let me start an AA meeting, Club Trudge, at her church over in Henderson when she was there, and she actually believed it. She actually believed so much in what we were doing. She was getting ready to leave there that she stayed an extra year for me. Do you know how that felt for me? Do you know how special that made me feel to continue? That's why I kept showing up twice a week, man, for 9 months with nobody showing up. It was very frustrating. It was very demeaning. It hurt. It did. But some good things came out of it. Al-Anon's still going strong over there from what I understand. But what happened? My relationship with her. Now we do a lot of things in the community together. A lot. She knows things that I don't know, and I know things that she doesn't know. And so we have learned a lot from each other. Not only that, but I gained another good, true friend. Okay? Yeah. When I first met her, did I kind of think spiritually she was above me? Yes, I did. I found out she doesn't think that way, right? Although I get it where she's coming from. People always call her with their problems, and she seems to do that even with me. Sometimes I call her and I'm like, "How are you doing?" "Oh, I'm fine. I didn't call you about anything. I was calling to see how you were." Okay, because she's not my pastor. She's my friend. All right. To others, the word God brought up a particular idea of him with which someone had tried to impress them during childhood. That was me. Although I didn't listen to them. I didn't listen, so I didn't really catch anything. I can't tell you one story out of the Book of the Mormon. I don't know. I don't know. And I am directly related to Taylor. Everybody is. It's funny because on my dad's side, like, okay, I have a half sister, right? Well, on my side, my biological father, that side, we're directly related to one of the people that started Mormonism, right? His name's Taylor, and I want to keep saying James Taylor, but that's a singer. It's his story, and I may even be getting the names wrong, right? My sister, my younger sister and brother, their biological father, the man that raised me, their side of the family is directly related. So not only is that my half sister, she's also a distant cousin. Oh, those crazy Mormons. Crazy Mormons. All right. Anyway, perhaps we rejected this particular conception because it seemed inadequate. With that rejection, we imagine we had abandoned the God idea entirely. We were bothered with the thought that faith and dependence upon a power greater beyond ourselves was somewhat weak, even cowardly. That's what I was taught. Oh, you gotta be a man. You gotta stand up and take care of your own stuff. You'll be running around asking for help like a weak little fuck. All right. The man that raised me, that's what he fucking did. That's what he used to tell me. Okay. I believed him. But even at that time, I kind of saw how miserable he was, how out of control. Oh, he had a lot of anger. He was he was raised very, very Mormon. He was raised in the Mormon church. Right? And his father was, and I mean, he was militant about it. So anyway, we looked upon this world of warring individuals, warring theological systems, and inexplicable calamity with deep skepticism. We looked askance as many individuals who claimed to be godly. How could a supreme being have anything to do with it all? And who could comprehend a supreme being anyhow? Yet in other moments we found ourselves thinking, when enchanted by a starlit night, who then made all of this? There's that feeling of awe and wonder, but it was fleeting and soon lost. Yes, we of agnostic temperament have had these thoughts and experiences. Let us make haste to reassure you. We found that as soon as we were able to lay aside prejudice and express even a willingness to believe in a power greater than ourselves, we commenced to get results. Even though it was impossible for any of us to fully define or comprehend that power which is God, I still don't know. I don't know. There's no way I could describe my higher power. There, I mean, I could use some words like unconditional love and patient and tolerant, and I could use those, but that's not really describing my higher power. Okay. I don't know what they look like. I don't. I don't know what my higher power looks like. Does it need to look like something? Does it even need to have substance? I don't know. These are not the questions that I ponder anymore. I don't need to. I've got proof in the pudding that it's working. I've got a trust, a courage that it is working, and it has continued to work. And I would rather go through this life not believing in a higher power to find out that they didn't exist and I'll never fucking know, than to go through this life not believing, finding out that there was one and that I missed out on a whole life of much better things. It's just kind of how I think about it. Much to our relief, we discovered we did not need to consider another's conception of God. This is where sometimes people don't understand, or they resist so much they don't hear what is being said, that you get to pick your own conception. I'm sorry, but if you go to any other program, they're going to tell you your conception. They're going to tell you how to do it. So you can either take direction from a faulty human being, a finite human being who only understands very little, or you can have all the power in the world. Because we're all connected. We're spiritual beings. I did that to show expression, but now I got to stretch. We're gonna do this paragraph. We're gonna go ahead and finish this one up. So we didn't have to believe in somebody else's conception. Our own conception, however inadequate, was sufficient to make the approach and to effect a contact with him. This is the way I kind of put it. If you have children, do you make very hard terms for them to approach you and ask them for help and have them ask you for help? No, you don't. Okay. As soon as we admitted the possible existence of a creative intelligence, a spirit of the universe underlying the totality of things, we began to be possessed of a new sense of power and direction, provided we took other simple steps. We found that God does not make too hard terms with those who seek Him. To us, the realm of the Spirit is broad, roomy, all inclusive, never exclusive or forbidding to those who earnestly seek. It is open, we believe, to all people. All right. And it's true. It's true. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. Hopefully, going live next time won't be as confusing. So, but thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out and have a day.